The Philadelphia Eagles find themselves in a very precarious / interesting position. They always seem to have an embarrassment of riches on offense, defense, whatever it is. At the same time, they also seem to have a plethora of players that could be traded, especially at this particular time. Guys like Tanner McKee, for example, who last year finally got his opportunities towards the end of the year, threw 4 touchdowns, no picks, and really looked like at least a solid backup quarterback. Now, there are people on both ends of the spectrum that could say, hey, he could be the guy if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, even though obviously Jalen Hurts is the guy. And there's also guys that probably say he could be traded. We're with the latter because right now, as it stands in the NFL, the quarterback position, there is, when it comes to the quarterback position, rather, there is no more premium on any position in the quarterback position. And to even have one scintilla of a hope or even a scent of a backup quarterback that could be something special in this league, man. And to consider the fact that he's even a UDFA. I will point out that at one time, Tanner McKee was actually a projected first-round pick to the Vikings back in the day, but that's neither here nor there. That being said, Tanner McKee could be a hot topic / trade candidate heading into the regular season. Now, would I love it? No, because I would love to have a solid number 2 quarterback behind Jalen Hurts just in case anything happens at any point given in time. But at the same time, this is the NFL, and Tanner McKee could move on to greener pastures and figure this whole thing out, right? And I don't think it'd be the worst thing because you could get some premium draft capital, especially if the right situation unfolds, where if Jalen Hurts is balling out, seems to be healthy. You're confident in some of your other guys on the roster, but Tanner McKee could be bent for bigger things, or he could just be a really, really good backup, either one. But I think it would behoove the Eagles to potentially look into this. Like, what could they potentially do in order to get a trade across for a guy like Tanner McKee? There's a plethora of teams out there that could always use a quarterback. A couple of teams that come to mind, obviously the Cleveland Browns, or do we want to even send him to that whole mess? Maybe not. There's a lot of teams that could use a quarterback, and like we said, like the Browns would be fun and interesting. But I mean, even teams like that might surprise you, like the Lions, maybe a long-term quarterback need for the Las Vegas Raiders, one of my other teams, as well as who knows what will happen with Richardson as well as Daniel Jones down there in Indianapolis. Could be something to consider. Also, long term, you talk about the Rams, Matt Stafford. What's going to be his story? So I do think that there's a lot of things to consider when we talk about teams that need a quarterback and what that could look like, especially with a ceiling like that. And who knows what Tanner McKee's ceiling could be? I think he could be a quality starter in this league. What's his floor? At least a really, really good backup. So there's worse things to have happen, right? And there's a lot worse things that you could have, especially for your football club. And it's awesome for the Eagles to have this problem, have potentially 2 starting quarterbacks on their roster. And like we said, they could get some fine compensation for this guy. So overall, though, let us know what you guys think. Should the Eagles trade away Tanner McKee, get some quality draft capital heading into the regular season in 2025? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next video.